Hello, my name's Sajakirti and I'm sitting here in the Padmaloka Shrine Room where every morning the community meditates each day, and where every morning the community has meditated for the past, well, as long as the Shrine Room has existed really, 20, 30 years, something like that. Usually in normal circumstances we'd have a retreat meditating here every morning, as well as doing practice in the evening as well and throughout the day. But in this times it's just the community meditating in the morning and the afternoon as well. So I'm doing this video just to introduce you to the practice called the Mindfulness of Breathing. So what I intend to do is describe the practice, what it is for, what it will lead to, and then do a short lead through of the practice. Usually it's a practice that we teach at our Triratna Buddhist Centres throughout the UK and Europe and around the world, in fact. And I certainly advise that if you really want to go deeper in your meditation, that when things are back to normal and the country is not in a lockdown anymore, that you do go to a centre and do a meditation course, because then you'll get some very good advice on how to work in meditation. So this is, in a way, this is an introduction and a bit of a taster, really. Okay, so the mindfulness of breathing is a practice that the Buddha was said to have been doing on the eve of his enlightenment. So it's a practice that we often start with. It's often our first meditation practice that we learn, but it's actually one that can go very deep, all the way to enlightenment, in fact. So it's a practice which uses the breath, in the body to take us into a sort of a deeper and fuller experience of ourselves, initially through the body. So in the practice we're focusing on the breath, and that acts as a sort of center point for our awareness, an anchor point. And as we do the practice, our body calms and relaxes, and as that happens, our mind calms and relaxes. But also the mind becomes more focused, more concentrated, not in a sort of narrowing sense, but in the sense that it becomes more like still, clear water. So it's a very useful practice. It's one of the two practices we teach at in Triratna Centres as well, along with the Metta Bhavana, which I plan on doing another video for a bit later. Okay, so just to go into the actual sort of stages of the practice, it's a 4-stage practice, and each one takes us deeper into our sort of physical experience, into a more absorbed and concentrated state. The first of these stages, we're aware of the breath in the body, wherever we experience it most easily. Sometimes that can be down in the belly or perhaps in the chest. And what we do is we breathe in and out. Normally, you're not trying to control the breath. And at the end of each out breath, you count. So in, out, 1, in, out, 2. You can count up to 10 and then start again at 1. And the idea of this is that the counting brings us back, because so often we can start with focusing on the breath and then a few seconds later we're off in thought. But when we've got the counting, it's sort of, it brings us back. And what you may find is that you start counting and then you're lost at, say, 3 seconds, or you're lost when you get to number 3. So you just start again at 1. Or you may even find that you get up to 14, 15, because you've sort of been lost in thought, but the counting's still going. And in that case, you come back to 1 again. And you just do that as many times as you need to, and gradually the mind will start to slow and center around the breath. And then in the second stage, you count just before the in-breath. So 1, in, out, 2, in, out, and so on, up to 10 again. And there's a slight different shift in emphasis with counting at the start of the breath instead of at the end. So if it can have a bit more of an energizing effect, focusing on the in-breath, whereas focusing on the out-breath can have more of a relaxing, calming effect. Then in the third stage, we let go of the counting, because by this point, hopefully our mind has begun to still and we're a bit more concentrated and focused. So we then we drop the counting altogether, and we just focus on the breath as we experience it fully in the body. So again, having our awareness wherever is easiest for us to be aware of, and we just follow the whole of the breath throughout the whole motion of the in and out breath. And again, you might find yourself getting distracted at this point, and in which case you just come back again and again, as many times as you need to. It may be many times, and that's just fine. Each time you come back, it's a little victory in a way, because you've brought awareness back to your experience when you do come back to the breath. Okay, and in the fourth stage, you move your awareness up to the point in which the breath first enters the body, which is around the nostrils. And the idea with this is that the sensations of the breath around the nostrils are a lot subtler. So they begin, that subtler sensation has the effect of further focusing and refining the mind. And it's at this point that you can become quite absorbed in your experience. And again, it's not a sort of narrow focus. What you want is, it's almost like your awareness is centered at that particular point, but the actual awareness is relaxed, is open. It's very easy to think that to focus on something you have to really sort of, tense up, and because maybe that's the way we're used to doing it in everyday life. But in meditation, you need to learn how to use a far more relaxed and open awareness. Okay, so that's the sort of bare elements of the practice, really. What I'll do now is I'll lead you through a 20-minute meditation, but I'll add a little bit to the start and a little bit to the end, because what we want to do in any meditation practice, we want to start with a little bit of grounding in the body, so a little bit of awareness of our sort of, our body on the cushion or on the chair, and a bit of space to let the mind sort of begin to turn towards meditation, sort of setting up well, basically. And then I'll finish with just a little bit of time to absorb the practice. You want to spend a little bit of time at the end of meditation doing nothing, just so that your mind can settle again. Because you may find that actually meditation sensitizes the mind, so if you jump straight into activity, it can be a little bit jarring. So that's why we do this. Okay. So a short lead through of the mindfulness of breathing. And just before I start, your posture wants to be upright and yet relaxed. One that you don't have to strain to keep upright, but also one that you won't end up doing this and falling asleep. I won't say much more than that, but we have got another video on the Padmaloka channel that goes into posture in quite a bit of detail, so I highly recommend having a look at that if you want to get it just right. So just settling down, closing your eyes when ready. And beginning by taking your awareness to the contact that your sitting bones make with your cushion or chair. Feeling the weight of your body sinking into the chair. Allowing yourself to relax into that space. Perhaps taking a couple of deeper breaths. And again, relaxing on the out breath. Being aware of the sensations in your legs. Letting your legs relax. Feeling the torso, belly and the back. Allowing them to be upright and alert, yet also relaxed. Letting your shoulders drop down. Perhaps on an out breath. And then beginning to notice the breath in the body. The way the body moves with the breath. And finding a place where you can most easily be aware of the breath. Perhaps the belly or the chest. As we start the mindfulness of breathing. So in the first stage, counting just after the out breath. In, out, 1. In, out, 2. Counting silently in your mind, not controlling the breath, and coming back to the counting as many times as you need to. in the second stage of the practice, counting just before the in-breath. 1, in, out. 2, in, out. Up to 10, and then back to 1 again. third stage of the mindfulness of breathing, dropping the counting and just being aware of the whole breath as it moves in and out of the body. If you get distracted, coming back to the breath as many times as you need to. In the fourth stage of the practice, moving your awareness to the point at which the breath first enters the body. That can be around the nostrils, the subtle, cool sensations of the breath around there. It can also be the back of the throat. Centering your awareness in a relaxed and open way. And now, for a couple of minutes, letting go of any effort that you're making and just sitting, allowing thoughts to come and go, feelings to arise and pass away, not trying to do anything, nor trying not to do anything. And gradually opening your eyes, perhaps moving your fingers and toes a little bit, coming back into the room. Taking as much time as you need to do so. Okay, so I hope you had a good meditation. I plan on doing another one soon, leading through the Metta Bhavana practice, the meditation on cultivation of loving kindness. And just to say that there are a lot of resources online right now if you want to take your practice deeper. There's the webpage Free Buddhist Audio. There are other videos on the Padmaloka YouTube channel. And yes, when things return to normal, do consider coming to a Triratna Centre and either trying a drop-in meditation or even doing a course if this is if you've benefited from this. Yeah, meditation can have a real impact on one's life. It can be the beginning of a journey. Actually, it's not just about relaxation. It becomes a bit more like exploring the depths of an ocean or the far reaches of a galaxy. So yeah, I sort of invite you to take up that quest. And I'll finish just by saying that Padmaloka is in a position of financial uncertainty right now. So if you're able to, any donations that you can make would be of great benefit right now. You can do this through the website. I'll post links to the donation page below the video. Okay, thanks for watching.